What's up guys, Ling here, D-Train in the house. We're going to show you guys how to squat.
Is this really starting?
Sure is. We're just like full awkward mode, but let's do it. Ideally, to begin with squatting, you want to get your rack height just under your shoulder, so that when you pop it up off the racks, you should be able to walk it back comfortably. You don't want to have it too low, you don't want to have it too high, simply because if it's too low, you need to waste a lot of energy getting it off the rack. If it's too high, you're not going to get it off the rack. We'll stop. Right, so Ling, you want to pick up one of those hooks?
Yeah.
The way to do this is to put your shoulder against it and plug it in just on top of where your shoulder is going to step. So for Linda, she's got it on that one.
This one?
Yep. We're going to give that one a go. You're going to make sure you've got the right height right. So bring it down one. That looks about right. Then always check. So it doesn't matter, you have to move the rack a couple times. You want to get the rack height first. So Link's going to come on this side of the bar. Get your hands shoulder width. So you start. When you first learn to squat, it's good to have just a shoulder width grip. So just straight on, just so that's usually your most comfortable grip. So then once you just get shoulders there, get under the bar. And you want to get the bar just on top of your shoulders to begin learning squats. People do squat a lot lower on their back, but that's usually more of an advanced technique. You want to move into that. It's always good to learn with the bar on top of your shoulders to begin with. So if you want to just get your knees under there and just pop the bar up and walk back. Now a good way to test whether that bar height is right or not is to see if it bumps the hooks when you unrack it. If it's bumping the hooks, it means you've unracked the thing too high or too low, and you want to move it. So you want to move that back.
You actually have to tell yourself to activate it.
Now, see how that walked in and out nice and easily? So that's going to be a good weight, a good height for her to use for the squat rack. Now, we're just going to do some warm-ups and just do some sets of 5. So you want to unrack that again. Walk back. Yep. And with your positioning, you want to make sure you're looking forward. You don't want to look up or down yet. That might be a comfortable position for you, but you don't know until you've tried. So we always start with a neutral positioning. So you want to come down and up. Good. Right, walk forward. So it's very common for people to lose their balance on their way down. It's very normal, and I might even show Ling the ways to position your heels. So she's got the squat rack. So Ling's got the squat rack height right. The unrack is good. Just when you come down, the energy tends to want to push into your heels, and that's what you want. You want the energy to be in your heels as you're squatting, so that you stay nice and firm. So I might even show you. So you want to get your hands there, and then you want to get under it. I'm a bit forward, but you want to pop it up. So I'm showing you in the reverse. Don't do this at home with weight on the bar. So you pop it up, you walk back, or forward in my case. You get positioning right. You want to point your toes, I don't know if you guys can see, but you want to point your toes slightly out. So if I was to put an angle on it, it'd be about 15 degrees outwards to begin with. Hold the bar nice and tight. Hold it to make sure it's on your shoulder. You want to come down, keep it straight, drop in the hole, and come back up. You want to brace, so brace your stomach, come down, keep your chest up, keep going forward. So I'm getting Ling to try that again.
Over like a month.
Alright, so you want to get shoulder grip? Yeah, shoulders, so see how that's good? You can get the bar right on the shoulders, you can walk back. Steps back, stabilise yourself.
Same amount of weight.
Got grip out, knees pointed forward a little bit. Squat. Come up, I think. There you go. One more. Get up. Good. Okay. The fact that she's putting the weight in her heels has already stabilized her. And if you notice, the first time she did it, she wobbled, but now when she did it, it was perfect. The weight was exactly the same, nothing's changed. All she's done is put the weight into her heels, kept the chest and vision forward, and she's already made a massive improvement. Right. There's a story that goes with that. Alright, she's going to do that again. And I want to show you another tip. So the next tip is how much steps you take to walk out. So we're going to do a 3-step walkout. So then if you just listen, she walks steps up, take the left foot back slightly, yep, and then a right foot back slightly, and then left out. That's 3 steps. It's a very common way in competitions that's used, and it's a very easy way to get stable. A lot of people tend to step it up and take 2 massive steps. You lose your balance that way. Now by taking the 3 steps, it makes it a lot more stable, and you get a lot more time to control whether you're stepping again. So you want to do a set of 3? That's okay. Yep. Good. So she's popped her knees out. It's perfect. Go again. Good. The weight's on her heels. She's stable. And the third one. Up. Easy. Walk forward. Right. Down. Nice. See how it's just a couple simple things make the squat so much easier? She's already ready to put some weight on the bar. We're going to add some 2.5s on and see how she fends with some weight on it. Alright. So we're going to do another set of 3. And I'm going to ask Ling just to concentrate on bracing her abdominal to make the abdominal pressure to keep her chest up. She's doing it already, but I just wanted to emphasize a little bit of time. She's up. So he has to take 3 steps back, little one left, and then another one. And that's good 3 steps. Sometimes when you take the 3 steps out, you need to stabilize on the 3rd one by moving your right foot left and right a little bit. That's perfectly normal. In a competition, a lot of people do that, and you're allowed to do that. So she's going to brace the stomach here, she's going to keep her chest up, and she's going to squat 3 times. And up. Good.
I'll see you guys. Yeah,
chest up. There we go. One more. And up. Good. Forward.
Does it matter that her ankles are rolling inward?
So typically people wear Olympic shoes like mine. To prevent ankle rolling, having these type of shoes lets you stay really stable on the floor. I'm not too sure you guys can see it, but the flat is completely flat. Typically, a lot of people do use joggers at the gym. That's fine, but there is a high chance that your ankle will roll. So if then you want to step on the platform, and just show them your nice free runs. So the free runs, usually what happens is a lot of cushion on the heel, which allows for the energy to transfer in and out. So a lot of times when you squat, you're pushing your heels and your knees outwards to stay stable. And by doing that, you're putting a lot of weight on the edges of your shoes. Come on. So a simple switch of shoes might stop her from rolling in her ankles, but at the same time, if you're just using those ankles, it's just as easy to take a slightly wider stance than shoulder to stay stable. So you just, yep, and then take 3 steps back, little, bigger, good. Yep, so you want to keep your energy in your heels, and look straight forward, and breathe and go. And up, good. And up, good. And up. There we go. Forward. Now, perfect, nice.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. So by taking her stance out a little bit, did you find that you were a little bit more balanced just then?
Yeah.
She found that she was a little bit more balanced. So you might see in competition, some people get a really wide stance, some people get a narrow stance. Ultimately, it's up to you to find the stance that works the best. I think that wider stance works really well for you.
Yeah.
And I might try that with a little bit more weight. We might put a 1.25 on the side of it and get some more reps to go.
How do beginners know what weights to use?
Good question, Ando. So, beginners, it's good to start with a bar just as...
Oh.
It's good to start with the bar just to see how comfortable you feel with it, and then add a couple kilos on afterwards. Usually when you're beginning, it's not too important for you to push the weight so that you foul a rep or you get close to failure. At the beginning, it's always important to work on your technique over working on the weight. There's plenty of time to work and move your weights up. Alright, we're going to get back into the next set. we've got an extra 2.5 on the bar now. We're gonna get Ling to do 5 sets of 5 as her working sets. We're gonna say this is her first working set. Now, if you're a beginner and you wanted to learn to squat, a 5x5 is probably the best way for you to begin. Because 1, it's going to give you enough reps to check whether your form is right or not. And 2, it's something that you can achieve without a spotter being with you. And 3, it's a very good amount of volume so that you can learn and figure out what's going to affect your way you squat and to check your own form out. So we're going to let it pop under the bar again. So again, she's got her shoulder straight in the middle, straight under it. She's going to breathe and pop the bar up. Then she's going to take 3 steps. Get her footing right. She's going to keep her chest high. She's going to squat down, pop back up. Squat down, come back up. Good. Squat down, come back up. And breathe, and up. Breathe, and up. Now when you learn to squat, it's always good to go with a spotter, because in the event that the weight is a bit too hard for you, especially when you're beginning, you want to have someone there to spot you. The spotter should always have their hands on the side of them so that they can catch the bar or catch their stomach or catch their upper shoulders to brace them so that they don't fall. Because often when you start squatting and you squat and it's too heavy, generally you're just going to want to collapse and hope someone's going to catch you. And as a spotter, that's what you want to do. You just want to catch them by grabbing onto their bar or grabbing onto their stomach as soon as you can so that you prevent the weight from stapling them to the bar break. We're going to do another set of 5. She's going to get under the bar again. She's going to breathe and top it up. Take the 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Good. Keep your chest forward. There you go. And up. Good. Good. Yep. Breathe. Perfect. One more. Good. And walk it.
So Derek, for a beginner, what kind of depth should they be looking for?
Nice. Let's give my 5 seconds. Now, as a beginner, you should always aim to get your depth below parallel. As a beginner, so in competition, a lot of people talk about finding the perfect depth, just getting your hip crease just under parallel. But as a beginner, it's always important just to get as deep as you can without falling. The reason for that is you want to build up your baseline strength so that you can find your distance later. So there's no point, and a lot of people will squat like this, there's no point squat like that and then come back up. That's not going to do you any good. It's going to give the bottom half of your squat a lot of strain when you actually have to squat down there. So you're better off squatting all the way down and coming up. And in terms of building muscle, in terms of building a good physique, building strength, that's the ideal depth. So you want to go as deep as you can, but not so that your butt touches the floor. Only a couple people in the world can do that. You want to ideally find as deep as possible without losing your balance. And in all of Ling's squats just then, it's been perfect depth so far, strength. And as a beginner, you should always do that. Alright, so we're going to take a couple minute break. We're going to come back and do another set. So as a beginner, a lot of people have accidentally snapped their wrist. And when I say snap, I don't physically mean snap, but I mean holding their wrist on the bar so that it's bent like this. Now, if you're a serious lifter, you can do that. You need wrist wraps to do this. But as a beginner, you should always aim to have your wrist and your forearms perpendicular to the bar so that the energy transfers perfectly around and you're not putting any pressure on your wrist. So then if you want to just exaggerate a snap bent wrist, so you pull shoulder. So if you can see her wrist, as she pushes up, as the weight goes up, you'll notice that this bar is pushing downwards there and not into her forearms. What that is going to do in the long run is it's going to hurt her wrist to the point that she's going to need wrist wraps to squat, or she's going to hurt her wrist or shoulders, because if you notice the shoulder now is in a weird positioning and angle to the bar. So I don't want you to do that because it's going to hurt you, but I want to get you right again. So see how she's got her hand underneath the bar and it's a straight line again? That's what ideally you want to do. Now, you may not have a lot of flexibility, so just by seeing Ling squat a couple of sets, I can tell her flexibility and mobility is really good in her shoulders and her wrists already, because she is able to grab the bar close to the middle. Now, if your mobility isn't that good, or you're struggling a little bit just to get this type of grip, because this will keep your back nice and tight, you can hold the bar a bit wider out, so you want to push the bar out a little bit and a little bit more. So you can go that wide. This wide allows you to put less stress into your shoulders and less stress into your elbows. It is a mobility thing, so once you improve your mobility, you can pull it in more. The reason why you pull it in is so that you can keep your back tighter, so that when you squat, you can actually put a lot more energy into your squat without having to worry about your shoulders and your back. Now I'm going to get Ling to grab a natural grip, which is that one there. She grip it up, she come out again. Just kept the bar nice and tight. She's gripping the bar tight, which is going to let her grip her shoulders and her back firmly. She's going to do another set of 5. And up. Good. Chest up. There we go. Breathe. Up. One more.
So for the race readings, I'm all good.
Forward. Down. Nice. So that was the 3rd set. So far she's probably breaking a little bit of a sweat. As a beginner, that's ideally what you want to do. You want to work out just enough so that you probably don't need a spotter, but it'll be good if you had a spotter there. It's always good to have a partner around. So far, she probably can get another 2 sets in without me, but the fact that you have a spotter makes you feel more comfortable to hit the depth and to build your strength. We'll take another pause, take another breathe. Ling's going to get some water, and we're going to work on to our next set. Need some water?
Hang on, haven't started. Lingo's stretching. She's getting ready for this.
Ling's stretching. Alright, so we're going to do one more set. This is our 4th set.
Is it?
Yes.
Sure, it's not my 5th?
Is that a 5th or 4th? We're going to do 2 more anyway.
How do I count how many I've done?
Usually people count by writing it on their hands, writing it on a piece of paper, or writing it in chalk. Chalk on the floor is a very common powerlifting thing, so if you want to do that, it's a really good idea. Now, we're just going to do another set of 5, and we're going to talk about the speed. So, then if you want to pop that up. So a lot of beginners tend to just fall in the hole and hope to come back up. As a beginner, it's actually better to go slow down and slow up, or slow down and fast up. So then you're going to do your first one. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. There we go. Breathe. Up. Good, one more. Up. Good, one more. So usually as you're doing more sets, you tend to get a bit slower and you tend to fatigue a little bit in your set. Ling's reached a stage where she's got 1 set after this. She's pretty much at the end of her workout. And this is when you need to push yourself to get those last 5 reps in. The thing that I was talking about before was you don't want to go down too fast, because what's going to happen is you're going to carry a lot of weight and you're going to let gravity drop you in the hole, and you're going to get stuck in this little midpoint, and if you can't get back up, you're going to get stapled straight away. So if you're holding a lot of weight, you're better off going slow and up slow. So slow and up slow. As opposed to, I might even show you the camera, as opposed to just breathing and just dropping. Sorry, Matilda. You don't want to go down really quick, so you don't want to go bang and get stuck here and then work your way back up. Because one, that doesn't build strength. It does build you a lot of explosive strength, but there's a lot of chance that you're going to miss your reps. So you're much better off in terms of building strength and building a good physique to just go down in a concentrated form. So you're concentrating, so you squeeze your muscles, work your muscles. The primary muscle that gets worked in the squat is your glutes, which everyone wants to work, so you're better off working it properly as opposed to just popping in the hole and popping out again. Alright, so we're going to take another couple minute break and then we're going to finish off our workout.
What's this?
It's a good question, Ling. So, when you're squatting by yourself, it's always important to have the safeties up. Because I was here today, we didn't use them. But if you're ever in a gym and you're by yourself and you're a beginner, always get this at a good height. Now the way you find his height is you just whack it on a setting, you get underneath it, you unwrap the bar, and you come down and do a pause with just the bar. So you come down all the way and you have a look to see if it's above you just slightly. If you have it too high, you're going to bump it every single rep you do, and it's going to be super annoying. If you have it too low, it's not going to save you if you miss. Now, I'm confident that Ling can do this weight for another 5. We are going to do it for another 5, but we're going to show you what happens when you're at the gym by yourself and you actually hit that spot where you can't do the weight anymore. So on Ling's 5th one, we're going to purposely get it to drop, and the safest way to drop is just to go slow back down. So if you've come and you squatted down and you come back up and you're stuck, you just want to gradually fall back down and just release the bar onto the thing. So we're just going to do it as safe as possible, because this is not a recommended step in your training, but if it does happen, you do want to do this. Yep. Vision forward, chest up, and down, and up. Good, up.
Gary wants to come. He trains like once a week.
Breathe. Good.
Gary is pretty good. But he wants pretty good, because I was talking to him.
Good. Slow down. Back up and just pretend to get stuck. So you pretend to get stuck. The motion is just keep going down and just let the bar forward and just get back. And that's as safe as you can do it. Now in Ling's, and go forward. In Ling's case, we probably could have lifted this one higher. We should have checked it a bit, but generally if you're by yourself, you want to make sure you can check. The same thing with a bench press. You want to have the rack height for all lifts. So squat for today's case, you want to have it so that you can just fall forward and let it drop onto the safety rack. This thing is going to have to save your life in the event. So that was good. It was a good workout. We're going to call it a day. Peace out. See you guys next time.
No one's gonna fuck with me.